I apologize. It is a little bit, we live in the desert and our air conditioning broke. So I'm going to be a little bit moist during today's live stream. Let me actually get, we're live. I'm going to be answering questions, interacting with you guys. Let me get one additional light here. I'm here, just getting a light. I think that should help. I think, right? No, maybe not. Okay, so welcome to our, this is the first time I've been live on YouTube since we did the follow-along workouts during the pandemic. So I'm going to answer questions. I've got a list of questions from a community post that I shared, a couple months back. So what I'll do is answer some of those if we don't get any questions live. But you can just pop in questions or comments here. I'll try to look at them and answer while we're live. I don't know how long we'll be live, but we'll just go with this. I figured I've got to start interacting more with you guys and gals on this channel, and here's our first attempt at that. So one of the first questions I get this question a lot. It seems like most people are really interested in, I share mostly fitness. I don't share a lot of nutritional stuff because I don't really think it's interesting. This stuff, I eat the same way kind of day in, day out. I'm not a chef. I don't make special recipes. I basically rotate the same simple ass meals nonstop. But again, I have to go with what a lot of you are interested in. It seems like a lot of you are curious about the nutritional stuff. So I'll start with that. The question was from Tyler Davies. Would love to see more of your daily eating habits, tips for staying satiated while remaining lean. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate that, Tyler. And we got the Jungle Cat, Jordan Robertson. How we doing, man? So my diet is very simple. I emphasize protein and produce, and I am pretty focused most of the time. I eat pretty, I don't want to say perfect, but most of the year I am 5 days of the week pretty locked in. Then a couple days I might give myself flexibility. If I'm in a more focused fat loss phase of the year, we tend to make Q2 kind of a shred phase. I tend to be more 6-1, only 1 day of flexibility. And flexibility, by the way, is it's subjective. It means I still try to eat good stuff. I try to get my protein and produce, but I add extra stuff in that I won't necessarily have during the week. But I basically have used kind of a modified fasting approach for over a decade. So I will tend to just start the day with coffee and water. Midday, I'll have either a couple, Andrew Chavez, am I natty? I'm absolutely, the only drugs I take are, it's kind of funny now, weed. I love weed for relaxation. It helps me really wind down, and I also enjoy, it enhances the effects of food. I feel like it is good for recovery, but I've never taken any performance enhancing drugs. So yeah, I am natty, as they say. But my midday meal, it tends to be light. I'll have like a protein shake, or I'll do a bowl of yogurt with some organic berries. I'll throw in some walnuts, a scoop of protein powder, a drizzle of honey, and I also love Proats, which is, I make quick, in instant oats. I'll throw protein powder in there. Again, walnuts, maybe a little peanut butter, some banana, some organic berries. And I just think I like a nice light midday meal. And then at night, I'll have any combination of meat and vegetables pretty much, or eggs and vegetables, maybe some fruit. And I go pretty easy on the starch. So my favorite starch is a potato. I'll have some beans, but mainly it's during the week, during my more focused days. I don't want to say low carb because, again, I'm having fruit. I'm not afraid to drizzle a little honey on my oatmeal or yogurt bowl. And but again, my favorite starch is a potato. I don't really have a lot of rice or pastas or breads during the week. Now, on my flexible days, that's when I will, with inflation, Uncle Baby Biscuits has been having more, kind of, I guess the cheat meals I had when I was younger because it just food prices are out of control. So, you know, Taco Bell, pizza. I try to go thin crust as often as possible with pizza. I love Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, or the Tillamook has an excellent cherry vanilla. That I love that too. But you know, that is basically how I eat all year. It doesn't really change. And again, my flexibility will change based on goal. If I'm going to try to emphasize more muscle building, I will, you know, I might give myself more flexibility. And maybe I go 4-3, focused versus flexible. Special holiday week or vacation, you know, that's something that I can kind of maintain my look or overall body fat or body weight, you know, for a week or two or even a month. But I try not to go too far in that, because 4-3 can really start to push you into smoothing out and gaining some weight. But again, the only thing that really changes throughout the year is my degree of flexibility based on season, goal, and my favorite split with flexibility is 5 days focused. And then Gustavo from Brazil, how we doing, man? And then you know, give myself 2 days of flexibility. But I don't make those flexible days like an all-day thing. It tends to be, I'll still do a fast till later in the day, and then you know, I try to keep a window, keep it later in the day, so I don't. You front load the calories. Sometimes the days can get kind of out of control. So, and I apologize, my air conditioner is broke in the desert, so I'm going to be moist and sweating. This will be soaked, but probably by the time we're done here. But I do get a lot of questions on that. I'll start sharing more of my meals in the stories of YouTube. I really haven't posted much in stories. I do that more on Instagram. You can follow me there, Instagram/BJ Gaddour. But is this the right? How's that? That might be better. But yeah, man, it's a really simple approach. And again, I protein, produce, and water. Supplement wise, I keep it really simple. I take athletic greens every day. I like to take pre-workout an essential amino acid blend with some creatine and beta alanine, but that's it. That's the only supplementation I really go with. So just wanted to answer. That was Tyler Davies had that question. We got some comments coming in. Let me see here. Top chat. Let me see. Oh, good. So I can see it now. We got Rob Williams, love the boxing mixed with the balance. That's one of our express workouts at thedailybj.com. For those that aren't familiar, I do, you know, there's monthly programming, annual programming at thedailybj.com. The stuff I share at YouTube is more educational, and, you know, they're more standalone workouts you can kind of do, but we do more programs that, you know, there's synergy there, and there's progression throughout the year at thedailybj.com. So I'm here to answer any questions. Jordan Robertson says, edibles heal the joints and make that Tillamook extra flavorful. The cherry vanilla is really good. It actually has actual bits of cherry in it, which is fantastic. What else we got, guys? I know everybody likes to know about the food. To me, it's like, here's the thing about food. You're going to end up eating the way you want to eat anyway. And what I don't like is I never want to tell someone to do something and then they don't do it, or they associate like me with a failed diet, because the reality is you gotta try a bunch of different things. You gotta experiment, and probably in about 3 to 5 years of doing that, you'll eventually, you know, find something that is sustainable, that works for you. And I don't think a lot of people could do the diet I do. It's just the level of discipline and simplicity is kind of boring for a lot of people, and I don't really care. You know, I'm not really into presentation or making special recipes like a lot of people do in the space. It just, to me, it's kind of a waste of time. I'm just too busy for that. I run multiple businesses at home with my wife, and we like to keep things super simple. Let's see what else we got here. So Andrew Chavez is asking supplements or vitamins. I just kind of answered that. I don't do, I take athletic greens every day, which is essentially a multivitamin, 75 whole food ingredients. I'll drop a link in the show notes for that if you guys are interested, because you can get 5 free travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D through my link. But it's really meant as kind of a greens powder and multivitamin in one. I take that daily, and I take pre-workout essential amino acids, creatine, beta alanine. So that's all I do regarding questions on other types of supplementation. You know, there's a lot of people that like vitamin D. I think is good if you live in northern climates, but I live in the desert, so I get plenty of sun. I don't need to supplement. Sorry, let me see. Just went away. And zinc can be good for testosterone. Magnesium can be good for sleep, recovery. But again, biotin can be good for hair growth. But yeah, man, that's I don't take a lot of supplements. I just don't. I don't like that. It's not my style. We got Jordan Robertson asked. We've done 1.5 reps a bunch. I mean, I don't know what, we got 2 more months of Express before a big end of year review, but I don't know exactly what we'll be doing there, but we've used pulses or 1.5s a bunch. We'll see what happens. I got to program your October stuff this weekend and film it. So I don't know, man. We'll try to get a little bit of recovery in place so I can get creative, and we'll try to find. I was planning on making really heavy core focus routines for October, so I'll see what we do there. And if, what I'll do too is I'll just keep going to some of the pre-recorded questions here. John Chancey just finished upper body 9. Fantastic. That's one of the best workouts. All the upper body workouts in Q3 I think were pretty fire, but it's another tough one. So we had, I'm just going to look here at the list. Gabriel Thompson asked about muscle gain workouts for people with flat feet. So, I mean, look, this is tough to talk about or go live. I'll try to incorporate some of this content into a video itself. And by the way, part of the reason I don't talk about nutrition, I don't really have a way to make the video entertaining the way that it has to be entertaining on YouTube with a lot of production value. But, the couple things for the feet. I recommend every day, I'm in my little gym space here so I can show you, but stepping on one of these peanuts or double lacrosse balls, and imagine this is my foot, and just peeling the plantar fascia and just releasing out those tissues to kind of mobilize all those articulations and joints that you have in the foot. Big fan of that for foot health. And the big focus with the foot is you want to have what's called a quadruped foot, meaning you create a strong natural arc in the foot. The first and fifth metatarsal, or the first and fifth knuckle, the big toe, and the knuckle, the big and little toe are on the ground, the heel, and then you want to secure the big toe as well. That's the fourth point of contact. And you want a nice natural arc in the foot. And you want a general balance. You don't want to be tilting to the outside, tilting to the inside. But I think for most people, you asked about where to push, or you want to focus, I think, on really driving through the big toe. When the big toe isn't being pushed down hard enough into the ground, the foot ends up tilting to the outside, and that tends to create some pain in the outside of the knee, some patellar or kneecap tracking issues. You'll get the most stability with, really digging the big toe down. So that's something I recommend as well. In terms of which muscles to activate, that's more about, your hip and knee positioning. So if your hips are more hinged, you tend to activate more glute and hamstring. If your shins are more vertical to the floor, if you're doing lunges or squats, you tend to get more glute hamstring and take pressure off the knee. The more forward your knee is, or the more your knee is over your toe, the more quad stress you get. And you will also activate more of your inner and outer hip and thigh musculature when you're more in a split or lunge stance because of the instability. So that's why I love single leg training so much, because it activates your entire lower body, less spinal stress, lighter loads go a longer way. It's a big hallmark of what we do. So that was for Gabriel Thompson. Also you got to do a lot of single leg balance work. I recommend checking out, I shared a balance video not long ago that kind of broke it down. Check that one out, or you can just search it. It was a deep dive on balance and really how to place the foot, everything else. That should definitely help you a lot. And particularly what I call the midfoot technique, which is creating a stable arc in your foot while lifting your toes off the ground. It actually helps really strengthen the intrinsic muscles of the foot. So Gabriel, please be sure to reference that. What else we got here? Gustavo is asking, what are your thoughts on combining bodyweight training with learning martial arts? I think for combat sports, I think the best training for any sort of combat sport is body weight exercise, because I wrote a book called Your Body is Your Barbell. It's actually a really powerful statement when you think about it. If you don't know how to use your body weight, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to start adding external loads to your body, right? Because there isn't a foundation in place. So I think body weight drills, I mean, many of you know I love boxing. We make boxing a regular part of what we do at thedailybj.com. And I love body weight in boxing workouts. That's we do that a lot, actually, and shadow boxing too, like, because a lot of people don't have access to a heavy bag to punch, but that is among my go-to. I just believe in the bodyweight work because, again, it's accessible. It gives you great foundation. I feel like it always gives the best look that most people want, which is lean, athletic, the right amount of muscle, not too much. Especially if you're in combat sports, you've seen it where fighters can get too muscled and then they end up conking out in the ring, or they don't have the same level of stamina. Anthony Joshua, for example, kind of got huge. Like, I think he kind of went a more bodybuilding style of training. Started lifting a lot of weights, and it actually negatively impacted him in the ring, and he had to kind of reduce his weight and change the way he trained. So there is something to be said for too much muscle for a competitive sport, right? Because it's going to gas you out. The more muscle you have, the more oxygen is required to fuel you, and the heavier you are, the more you get worn down in the ring. So that's I think bodyweight drills are the best for combat sports. And then you can start to incorporate the other stuff we do, which is dumbbells or kettlebells, resistance bands, med balls. That's really the core of what I focus on for busy parents, professionals, and just longevity training. I'm just looking at anything else here that came through. All right, we got some other questions here. This one's kind of a longer one from, I'm just referencing my computer here so I can maintain the live stream. How do I, it's so long, how do I? Basically, Calvin Thompson, always been inspired by a transformation photo. And by the way, I tried, when I asked this a couple months ago, I tried to make comments. My pleasure, Gustavo. I tried to make comments or content that would answer some of these questions. So hopefully you check that out. I did one of the top 10 weight loss tips. I also did a podcast on it, the Get Some Gains podcast, iTunes, Spotify. You can check that out. I have almost 200 episodes, by the way. Sorry for getting a little bit of moose knuckle there. And we go into that. But basically, he said, I finished a 12-week program for nutrition, exercise. I can relate to used to being bigger. I've lost some weight, but there are times I still fluctuate. How do you kind of stay? Sorry, I'm really struggling to figure out how to properly answer this. Ask any questions you have, by the way. I'm going to this because I didn't see anything that was asked or talked about here. Unless I missed anything, I'm looking through. Navigate the journey with your body. I mean, so basically, I guess what he's asking is, how do you deal with the fluctuations, And I think what a lot of people overlook with this is you're going to have to go through a number of cycles. It's different for everyone, but you are absolutely going to have to go through I'll stop 1 second. Jordan asked, top fit over 40. The video's done. It was supposed to be live today, but there was a copyright strike on one of the songs, which shouldn't have happened, so we had to actually take that song off. The export itself takes 7 hours, and then we have to upload it back up. So I'm hoping to make it live this weekend, and I will blast it out on all channels when it's ready. And what I'll say about that video, by the way, yes, it's called Fit Over 40, but it is it's basically, it's a timeless kind of evergreen video. The best 40 movements, in my opinion, broken down by category: core, lower, upper, and total, 10 moves for each category. And it's also great for those that are kind of, whether you're, a year or two away from 40, or you see yourself transitioning to a more longevity style of training. It really applies to everyone. But, for search and marketing, it's called the Fit Over 40 video, and it's really just about longevity. So that's how I would approach the video. And don't think that it's not for you if you're under 40 years old. You're going to get so much out of this video. But to the point of fluctuating, and I saw Lindsay posted a comment, I'll answer that next. You got to go through times of success and failure with this. And you are absolutely going to go through, you're going to be in better shape sometimes of the year than you are at other times of the year. The goal is to eventually be pretty lean year round. You get to that point, but I had to basically bounce back and forth. You keep trying to get in better shape when you're focused, and then you keep trying to not lose it as much when you're less focused. And what you hope to do is, as you bounce back and forth between those cycles, because motivation ebbs and flows, there's seasonal variation with this, then eventually you hope to make it a lifestyle. And it just takes time. You got to be willing to stay the course, and you got to be willing to make some mistakes and learn. I think eventually you get to the point where it's like, I'm just sick of going up and down. I'm just sick of it, right? Like, I have an online distance coaching client right now who had a lot of life changes come up. You know, he had a move, he had a wedding, he had an extended honeymoon, and kind of got off track with his plan and gained back some of the weight that he had lost in the early part of the year as he was focused for the wedding. And what I tried to remind him is that these are just the ebbs and flows of this. And at some point you have to be like, you know what? I'm just not willing to let myself, I don't want to lose it, because I know how much effort it takes to get there. And you just decide, I'm an active person. I have an active lifestyle. I'm not going to let myself, you kind of have to draw lines in the sand. I've gained, the first time it happened where my weight really fluctuated, I was like 6th grade. I went on a spring break vacation to Florida to see my grandparents, and in 10 days I gained 14 pounds, which is a lot, for a kid. My worst was gaining 35 pounds in 5 days after my first bodybuilding competition when I was like, I want to say mid-20s. That was very depressing because I ended up being in the best shape of my life the day of the show. And then 5 days later, I was in worse shape than when I had started the 16-week cut or shred for the show. So I've been there, and now I like to treat myself, but I never really overdo it. I'm always getting in X number of workouts, and I always get back on track the next day after my flexibility. So just take some time. You got to be willing to make a lot of mistakes, and I think eventually it just clicks, and it's different for everyone. So Lindsay's asking, what movements should you be able to perform before starting Gorilla Core Gains? So for those that don't know, look at that. Beautiful. Shout out to Kim G, distance coaching client, who hand welded that for me custom. Pretty cool. And I guess what I would say, first of all, really what it is, because there's always modifications, right? Like, you need access to a pull-up bar because we do a lot of pull-ups. And if you can't do pull-ups, we show you how to, I just did a video on this. By the way, check it out, the how to do perfect pull-ups and the top 10 tips for beginners. Breaks down a lot of the stepping stone exercises to get there, and also modifications. But you can do self-assisted pull-ups, band-assisted pull-ups. You can modify with inverted rows if you can't do it, or just do eccentric only push-ups, pull-ups, or just hangs. So there's always that, but they're longer workouts, they're more intense, they require more of a commitment. But because of that, whereas with our express 20-minute workouts, you guys kind of go all year, 3 workouts a week. So we call that 3, 20, 52, 3 workouts a week, 20 minutes each, 52 weeks of the year. With Gorilla Core Gains, because of the increased volume and intensity, there's stuff that you do on the off days as well. There's more recovery needed. So every 3 weeks we take a recovery week. Every quarter we have a 2-week recovery break. So it's really not as much about like which movements can you do. It's do you have the commitment and desire to do longer workouts, more intense training, to be training more of the week, 4 to 6 sessions a week, be willing to focus more on your recovery. And but yeah, we do a lot of pull-ups and dips. So if you're not competent or able to do those, that'll just be something you'll always have to modify with self-assistance, band assistance, or the other options I kind of touched on. Marissa Gannon. Been following since 2012, the Stream Fit start days. Shout out to Marissa Gannon. I appreciate the support. 10 years. Wow. That's pretty awesome. You know, a lot of you will say, I can't believe you don't have 1 million subscribers, and well, believe it, because I don't. But I have been blessed with some really awesome people that I've come into contact with that have supported the content for 5 to 10 plus years. So I'm grateful for that, and can't control how many people see it, but and by the way, it's more about the quality of the person watching, right? Do you engage with the content? Do they enjoy it? So, you know, hopefully it grows. I put a lot of work into this channel the last couple months. It's growing again, but it's slow, and that's just kind of how it works. You got to be willing to put in the work, and I've been trying to study YouTube more and learn about it more and how to better make content. I hope you guys have noticed that the content is more engaging. You know, it's got a good flow to it, and we're trying to improve, but you do what you can. But thank you, Marissa, for your support. We have someone else came through here. Jared says, happy belated birthday. Follower since the Men's Health Days with David Jack. Shout out to David Jack, just turned 50, by the way. Another September birthday. And so someone's asking, am I still in the Middle East? No, I'm actually, so I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I now live in the Palm Springs area of Southern California. But my father is from Tunisia, so North Africa. But I'm originally American, so I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'm basically Tunisian American, half Austrian, half Tunisian. So Arab, white, mixed. So let me see here. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Always posting a comment for the algorithm. Much appreciated, man. Those that are just jumping into body knowledge, here we go. What are your feelings on slower eccentrics, how to use them? Eccentric training is pretty much a foundation of what we do. I always, especially, you know, the typical tempo I recommend on exercise is always taking about twice as long on the eccentric or stretching phase of an exercise, such as going down on a squat or push-up or pull-up, where your muscles are strongest, but also by controlling the eccentric phase, you develop a lot of strength and you develop the ability to properly execute a movement. If you can't control the eccentric phase, you're more likely to get injured with your exercise. A lot of injuries actually happen eccentrically when you try to slow down and stop or decelerate. So I love it. We do some slow eccentrics too, 3 to 5 plus seconds, going down sometimes for longer work periods. Basically, and by the way, we apply a lot of the tempo training to body weight movements. That's how you make body weight feel like heavyweight. Once you're competent at normal speeds, you can really start to either slow things down or speed things up to intensify. But I always like to kind of slow things down first because, again, it's more joint friendly. And if you can do things slow with perfect form and technique, you can always end up adding speed to it. And you never want to add speed to improper form and technique. So we use a lot of slow eccentrics, and I'm a big fan of it, especially for our gorilla core and gain style when the goal is to build muscle. The one thing about it is it will create more muscle soreness. So you got to know when to pepper it in and cycle it in and out of your training. Otherwise, that can really kind of make it difficult to recover. What else we got? Okay, I think that was the last one that I saw here. Let me get to the next pre-recorded question. Help with breathing while exercising, from Nathaniel. So, you know, I will eventually do a full video on this. One thing that we do at thedailybj.com is every exercise has a breathing strategy, and we've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's really made a big difference because your breath powers movement, right? Oxygen is the fuel to your working muscles. And if you do not have a proper breathing strategy, your body will go fight or flight, which gives you anxiety and makes you get more tired quicker. Whereas when you have a good breathing strategy and you lock into a prescription with your breathing, you can go into a meditative flow state. Time passes faster. You got to get into the zone, and you get the most out of the exercise. So what I'll say is for, again, just those wondering why I'm sweating so much, our air conditioning broke, and I live in the desert, so it's getting sweaty. doing the best I can. I just saw sweat come off my face as I was talking. But the classic breathing approach, I did a video on this, by the way, how to breathe during strength training, I think a month or so ago. So I think many of you, I've been posting sometimes multiple times a day, a mix of the short form content that's 60 seconds or less, and then longer form content, a minute or longer, that's widescreen. But I'll get more stuff on breathing. But essentially, you want to be inhaling through the nose during the eccentric phase, coming down on a push-up, squat, or pull-up, for example. And then you want to exhale through the mouth on the concentric phase, the lifting phase for many movements, such as coming up from the bottom of push-up or squat, or coming up to the top of a pull-up. And you inhale through the nose to fuel your working muscles for the neck, for the hardest portion of the exercise, and also to stabilize your spine. The air pressure stabilizes your spine. And you want to exhale through the mouth during the harder portion of the exercise to use that air pressure to power the movement. And depending on how long you pause during the transitional phase of the exercise, it could be no pause, which means there's you just kind of go right from the inhale to exhale. Or if you want to pause for 5 seconds or less, you can hold your breath to create that stability. I don't recommend holding your breath much longer than that on most exercises, unless we're working on something specific. But that's the classic breathing strategy. Now that's more for strength training. For cardio training, we try to make it more rhythmic. So what I try to do, like for running, for example, is every 4 steps or leg exchanges, you'll inhale smoothly, and then mix between that and an exhale for 4 steps. So you kind of lock into this rhythm, and you can ride that rhythm for a long time. Those are the classic breath approaches. And then what I also like to do for recovery, I tend to start every day with it, is kind of put my legs up against a wall, and I'll do 10 minutes of box breathing, which is, it can be done a lot of different ways, but essentially the 4 phases of your breathing are of equivalent duration. That's where the box comes into play. And the app that I'm using, it actually vibrates to guide me. It's called Core Meditation Trainer. That'll be a 4-second inhale through the nose, 4-second breath hold, 4-second exhale either through the nose or mouth. I tend to keep it almost all nasal when I'm doing my recovery breathing, and then another 4-second breath hold. And then I repeat that for 10 straight minutes. It actually helps you activate what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, which drives your recovery, gets you out of fight or flight, gets you kind of more rest, recover, digest. And those are my kind of 3 main breathing strategies. There's a breath protocol for strength work. There's for cardio, more rhythmic breathing. And then there's meditative or recovery breathing, like the box breath are my 3 favorite strategies. But I got to do a deep dive on breathing at some point. Trust no one. I appreciate it. Happy Friday to you too. TGIF. Body Knowledge said, I use a lot of longer eccentrics in the past. A great challenge, by the way, is you can do this in the pull-up, the squat, the push-up, any bodyweight movement, is you start at the top and you take 60 seconds to smoothly lower. And you'll be basically using a shallow breathing strategy, just mixing between inhale and exhale. So you keep a little bit of air in the belly, but you definitely couldn't hold your breath for it. That's too long. But that to me, once you can take 60 seconds to slowly and smoothly lower, like an elevator from the top to the bottom of a movement, you really have ownership of the exercise. Another great strategy is 30 seconds down, then 30 seconds up, which is super challenging. Because again, that means you have just complete control through the full range of motion of the exercise. What else we got? I'm gonna miss before I get to the next question. Let me see here. All right. Recovery. What do you do for recovery? So David W. Humke, I think it is, asked about what do I do for recovery from the workouts I post. So, a lot of the stuff I do, it requires things, right? So I do a lot of stuff in my unheated pool and in my inflatable hot tub. And I do a lot of contrast therapy where one of my favorite 20-minute recovery workouts is I do 2 minutes of breathing and or ground-based stretching in the hot tub, 30 seconds then to get into the colder pool, and then I'll do some any drills in the pool. Like I basically I try to spend as much time as I can in the water now. I'm investing in the water for the future as my follower and supporters age. You accumulate wealth, you can hopefully get yourself a pool. I mean, I think it's the ultimate anti-aging longevity modality. So I use it a lot, and I'll do running in the pool, I'll box in the pool, I'll skater jump, squats, single leg squats. I'll go off to the edge of the pool. And by the way, I've started sharing pool workouts. There's a pool workout playlist, a lot more to come. Such great routines because the water heals the body. It provides anti-inflammatory compression. It unloads you so you can do a lot of movements. You can actually you can practice movements without fear of injury as much as on land because again, there aren't as much impact forces. I've been rebuilding my gait in the water. So I do a lot of contrast therapy, which is mixing between hot and cold. And I even have like Hyper Ice. I love those devices, the wearable heating, vibrating pads. I even have their contrast therapy device, which mixes between hot and cold, which is like a knee sleeve, because my left knee, it has, that's the area of my body that is, has a lot of wear and tear from playing football and the surgeries I had when I was younger. I love the Normatec compression sleeves, which is like just air that compresses your legs to help with edema and the lymphatic system. I love to elevate my legs every morning and do my box breathing, like I mentioned earlier, to help with recovery too. And I mean, a big part of it too is every 3 weeks, I take a week of active recovery. And then every quarter, I take 2 weeks. We're coming up on our 2-week fall break, which is amazing. I'll do a lot of stuff in the water. I'll do some walking, but I won't do much of any strength training or any heavy, really intense stuff. More recreational, more just movement, blood flow, mobility focused. And that helps a lot too. And I'll do pretty much the way our structure now, or what I'm doing is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a more intense resistance training focused workout. This year we've done, Monday has been total, Wednesday has been lower body, and Friday has been upper body. And then on the off days, it's either been like a walk-run program and/or boxing as kind of like more conditioning workouts to feed the recovery and help with body composition. You know, being lean will also be muscular. So obviously getting enough protein, getting enough water. Every week I give myself a higher calorie day, which helps with metabolism and recovery. So have I been so heavily caffeinated that I see colors or stars? No. I don't do any caffeine. The only caffeine I do is a couple cups of coffee in the morning. I got rid of my afternoon coffee, and I've replaced it with a 20-minute eyes closed or a power nap. Let me see here. Oops. Get back to that. I just saw a couple people pop in there. Derek, what's up, man? Oh, so that's the other thing. Jag Lochno asks about the EMS, so electric stim, I believe you're asking about. My wife gifted me, I got a bunch of geriatric gifts for my 40th birthday last week, which one of them was called the Power Dot, which is, it's a vibration device that uses electrical stimulation to make your muscles contract. And I do like that a lot. I actually think it helps with muscle activation. I've been using it mainly in my quads and my knee, as I've been really trying to heal my body. Last 2 years, this has been a total rebuild of my body. I just mainly been doing body weight only and very light weights just to get fix my alignment, my joint positioning, fixing a lot of injuries from the past that I really didn't fix all the way, kind of put more of a Band-Aid on them versus really taking the long-term approach to fix them. I've just gotten smarter, and I also need to make sure that my body can last for another 10 plus years from a career standpoint. So I do really like it. I think it helps. And actually, I couldn't believe I did the resistance workout, because you can either do recovery or massage, or you can actually do like a strength workout, a power workout, a stamina workout. And I couldn't believe it actually created, my quads were sore the next day just from the electrical stim. And I mean, in a good way. Areas that I like, like the VMO, that tends to get tough. If you've had any history of knee pain, that can be a tough area. Your lower quad, teardrop area right there inside the knee, can be tough to activate or to create any soreness there. Not that you need to have soreness to get a training effect, but you should be feeling the muscle work while you're training. So I do think it's helpful, and it's actually like pretty affordable. I think it was less than $200. It was gifted to me, so don't quote me on the price, but it's much more affordable than those like Mark Pro or Compex devices, which are like close to 1,000 or more. Crucifix hold. If you mean like with gymnastics rings, no, I actually don't have a gymnastics ring set up, and I couldn't do that if I wanted to. I'd have to self-assist. If you mean like from a push-up position, I've done that before, but it's not a regular part of what I do. Let me see, what else did I miss here? So I'll go to another pre-recorded question. See what else here. Someone was asking about a sample week of training workouts for the whole body. That's tough to answer. But again, like I can just share what we do. Just got a couple come through, so I'll go to that. Am I into wrestling or do I watch it? But I was into it when I was a kid. I don't really watch it anymore. I do like boxing. And I'll follow and watch boxing. I'm a big basketball fan too. I'm a fan of the Lakers. Used to be more of a football fan, not as much anymore, but I'll still keep up with how the Packers are doing since I'm from Milwaukee, and I'm also a shareholder. Someone just asked about content using an ab wheel. I shared recently a 60-second video on the ab wheel you can check out on my shorts. It's one of the featured movements, spoiler alert, in the top 40 Fit Over 40 exercises video coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. And it's basically that content, but in the video. But I don't do much other than the basic rollout. Stay tuned for the video. The video will break it down. And again, you can also check my past shorts. You can go through those because I did something on the ab wheel. How has your fitness journey affected other areas of your life? I mean, that's a tough one. What have I learned in fitness that applies in life? It's pretty existential. It's like kind of a sensei question, I guess. But how's it affected me? I mean, I've gained a lot of physical confidence by accomplishing things with exercise that, adds to your overall confidence in life. Again, I think it helps with your self-esteem and confidence, and that can help you tackle a lot of difficult things outside of the gym. And, I will say it makes working out harder in a lot of ways because, when you're filming stuff most of the day or writing stuff about fitness or answering questions about fitness, then you got to go train yourself. It's like, it's all fitness. So my hobbies tend to not be fitness related. I love to watch movies, listen to music, play with my dog, I'm not like, at least not as much as I used to. I don't really during my free time, I try to make it as non-fitness as possible because it's like, it's an overload. It's what we do all day if you're in the business, in the game of it. But it's obviously unlocked a full career path for me. It's unlocked a really awesome lifestyle where I get to work from home, pick my own hours, use whatever flexibility I want in my schedule, which is fantastic. But when you're your own boss too, that gets difficult too because you got to put self-imposed deadlines. There's no one over your shoulder making sure you get stuff done. So there's pros and cons to all of it. But it's obviously. There's no me without fitness. So it's kind of in my DNA at this point. Opinion on drinking raw eggs. Do you, boo? That's my opinion on it. Do I do it? No. Because I like cooked eggs. Egg whites, a lot of people throw into their shakes. It's a nice little protein alternative. I appreciate that, Gustavo. I got a lot more work to do, man. A lot more work to do. Thoughts on overcoming isometrics. So, Ram Kumar, check out, I just posted recently, it's called the 10-minute whole body wall workout, where actually I do some overcoming isometrics where you're pushing against a wall. You can't, overcoming means you can't, for those listening, it means you are creating force against something, but it doesn't move. Some people use it with like a bar they hold a bar and they put the rails of a power rack set and they pull up against the rails to kind of get into an exact position of their deadlift to increase strength there isometrically. So you're pushing against it, it's not moving, but you get really high rates of muscle activation and you strengthen that exact range of motion plus 15 degrees above and below. So it's great for, you can do it with your bench press, your deadlift, your squat. You can push against a wall with various things to do that as well. I think it's a great method. Just it doesn't really apply a lot to. It's boring for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know how to breathe, and they can get lightheaded when they do it. You got to kind of lock into a continuous, smooth breathing strategy with that. Because if you hold your breath, you get really lightheaded, you can pass out. And it's again more for like max performance type of training, which not really applicable as much for fat loss, general fitness type stuff. But it's highly effective for those that are looking to use it in that manner. Have a great weekend yourself. Trust no one. It's a really funny, cynical username. I like that. What else we got? Is it beneficial with dumbbells? It's tough to, in terms of the overcoming isometrics, tough to set up with dumbbells. But it's typically more used for like body weight movements or stuff with a bar because you can kind of get it set up there. Favorite ingredients to put in a daily smoothie? So I like the Fairlife chocolate milk. Has a little more protein, less sugar. That's kind of a liquid base. I always use organic berries and cherries. I'll do a plant-based protein powder because I don't like whey. I think whey is disgusting. It doesn't taste very good. It leaves bad aftertaste or breath. But I'm a big fan of plant protein powder. Peanut butter or nuts. I like walnuts because of the omega-3s. I'll usually throw a banana in there too for consistency and texture, potassium. I love bananas. I'm not afraid of carbs, like, again, produce, and I'm active, so the more active you are, the more fruit you can have in your diet. And what else? That's about it. I don't put a whole lot in my shakes. You can sometimes I'll throw in some greens powder, but that's kind of about it. Oh, maybe some yogurt sometimes, some like Siggy's brand yogurt with has probiotics in it for digestive health. But keep it simple. And I haven't been doing as many shakes lately because I tend to do either a yogurt bowl or Proats, which is oatmeal with protein powder. That's been my kind of midday jam lately. Have I heard of the Athenian X 200 Club? No. And how fast can I get that done? 50 push-ups, 50 chin-ups, 100 burpees. Probably take me 5 days. I don't do challenge workouts. I'm just being honest. I'm not interested. For me, training is just something I have to get done. I don't care if it's fun or not. I'm not a big challenge workout guy. I don't really enjoy training, if I'm being honest. I do it because of the benefits of it. I like the look. I like how I feel from it. I like how it can help you age gracefully. But I'm not like, I've never done a mud run. I'm not like motivated to do challenge workouts. That's just not how I work. I do it so I don't get fat. I do it so that I can be effective at my job, and I kind of leave it at that. Yeah, again, also I'm not, more and more now too, like I approach my workouts more as practice. I'm not trying to crush myself. Because I have a lot of content to make. I don't want to be sore. I don't want to be limping around. I don't want to deal with the injuries that I used to deal with. And so for me, it's more about just quality movement. I look at my strength training more as loaded mobility than strength training, if you will. It's all about range of motion, form, technique. And so I've never done challenge workouts. I know people like them and respond to them, but just not me. Sorry. What else we got? I also put peanut butter in my shakes sometimes too. I mean, chocolate banana peanut butter is a great blend. Bruce is asking, do you leave your heavy bag, sorry, it just disappeared. Do you leave your heavy bag outside all the time, trying to convince my wife to let me get one so I can throw some hooks like you? Man, I love the heavy bag. I only use it once or twice a week at most, and I do a lot of shadow boxing, or honestly, I do most of my boxing now in the pool. I shared a video on this, by the way. It's a heavy bag versus the pool boxing, because when I started boxing, I was so stiff from all the bodybuilding and strength training. I was also a little bit too muscled, and my mobility was lacking, and I didn't have a lot of rhythm and coordination. So I taking the boxing so by going into a fluid environment, it's made my boxing a lot more fluid. Better footwork, more rotation on the punches, smoother punching, and it's super easy to recover from. In fact, anything in the pool is recovery. And that's helped a ton. So I have it outside, but it is under, I keep it out of the sun when I'm not using it, so it doesn't wear down in the sun as much, because again, I'm in the desert, the sun is punishing. But at some point I hope to get my garage gym set up. It's a while away. And then I might have either my aqua bag I used to have, which is like a 30-pound water bag, which is great because it's actually easier on the joints punching a water bag. But I also have a 100-pound Everlast bag I could use too. But yes, I mean, I'd recommend, if you commit to boxing, I would recommend having a bag set up that you can use it on a regular basis, because it's a pain in the ass to take it up and down off the ceiling if you're doing something that is mounted. The one I have is freestanding and it has wheels, so it's actually easy to move and get in and out, and it's a full bag, so you could kick it too if you wanted to, but I do more punching. Jag, I'm happy to hear that. Very much appreciate the feedback and the support. Thanks for tuning in. Let me see here. I'm trying to get... Lindsay's saying she would die in Florida without AC. I know we've actually been sleeping outside because it's just too hot. The air doesn't circulate. So we've been sleeping outside, and it's just cool enough where we can get through it. Hopefully, it could take like a month to get fixed. We'll see. Because we're trying to go through the insurance so we don't have to pay out of pocket with it, but homeowner insurance. So hopefully it gets covered. Otherwise, it's super expensive. But it is a health issue out here in the desert, and we're lucky because it just finally got under 100. So if it was like a couple weeks back, it would have been a real problem. We probably would have had to get a hotel or something. Another expense. Blood flow restriction training. I probably should do a video on that at some point. I am a fan. The one thing about it is it requires a lot of education, because people will think it's unsafe. It's kind of like, it seems extreme and unsafe. It was part of my MetaShred Extreme DVD that is no longer available, discontinued. But that was my last DVD with Men's Health. We did blood flow restriction finishers for the arms and legs. And I'm a big fan of it. I think it makes lightweight feel heavy. I think it's a way to get fast twitch fiber activation or complete fiber activation with really light loads. It's not just for rehab, though it's excellent for rehab because of the fact that you can completely exhaust a muscle with light loads because of the blood flow restriction. But it requires a lot of education, and it's not necessary. I don't necessarily would recommend a full blood flow restriction workout only. I think it's really good as like starters, finishers, or even some active recovery on off days. I'll probably at some point, I got to do some video on it too, because it is great for older people, because with like 10 to 30% of the load that you would typically use, you can get like the same results. Not from a strength standpoint, but from a muscle building standpoint. Do I follow a strict diet, or I do eat a bit of everything? I touched on this earlier, so here's the shorter version because I don't want to bore people with the repetition of it. But I tend to be most of the year 5 to 6 days very focused, pretty much perfect eating, and then 1 or 2 days I give myself some flexibility. It'll shift. If I'm really focused on more getting shredded, I'll be more 6-1. More muscle gain, I'll be 5'2". If it's like a holiday situation, I might be 4'3" that week. Focus, flexible, but I mean, I'm not crazy about it. I tend to eat one lighter meal midday and one heavier meal at the end of day, and I'm pretty consistent with that throughout the year. But I don't do keto, or I'm not like afraid of carbohydrate. I have a pretty good mixed diet. Pretty good mix of protein, fat, carbohydrate, and every week I give myself a little flexibility to more mentally psychological than anything else. But it also helps me re-energize and get, because I get pretty worn down by the end of the week. So I need a higher calorie day just to feel good, enjoy life, and but I get back on track the next day. I'm pretty consistent with that. Stance on alcohol. I don't drink, never have, because of alcoholism in the family, but some people can make it work. I do think one advantage for me has been I don't drink. So I think it's helped me age appropriately. I think if you don't have a good handle on alcohol, I think it really wears you down. And just like, I think alcohol and cigarettes, like two of the things that just age you the most. They really do age you. So if you can go without it, great. If you can incorporate it with balance and still hit your goals, I'm fine with that too. But it's an individual thing. I'm a big fan of weed. I didn't start using it until I was about 36, but it's helped a lot with recovery, anxiety, stress, and but even with that, you got to use it, and you don't want to be having it to start the day. And you don't want to be I cycle it. I only have it once or twice a week. We got Lindsay's a big fan of weed too. What else do we got? I'd recommend what we got. Best move for quads, maybe a heels elevated or foot on slant board split squat. That's probably my favorite option. For the glutes, hip thrusts are going to be the best way to activate the glutes. I also like step ups for the glutes. I like hip hinges. I've got videos, by the way, top 10 quads, top 10 glutes. I'll break that down also in the lower body category of the top 40 fit over 40 video that's coming soon to this channel. Make sure you guys watch that. It's fantastic. What else we got before we sign off here? A couple minutes left. Final call for questions. By the way, I'm also trying to figure out, I work shin boxes daily. Linz, every day I do shin box. I do them a lot in the hot tub. We do them a lot in Gorilla Corn Gains programming. Damien, what's up, man? So I'm a big fan of it. I think it's the most important mobility drill for the hips. You got to do it often. It'll be in the Fit Over 40 video as well, broken down. So stay tuned for that. For those who don't know what that is, it's the 90-90 shape. When you're on the ground and this leg is forward like this, and a pigeon, this leg is, can you see? You're on the ground like that. I got a 50-pound med ball that is my desk chair. But I am going to try to find a way to, at some point, maybe incorporate, how do I like YouTube? You know what? That's actually a decent question. I used to hate YouTube. I have a love-hate relationship with YouTube. I've really struggled to grow YouTube. It's of all the things, I've got over 500,000 people on Facebook, which sucks because, I have no idea what to do with the people there, because you share something on Facebook. There's over 500,000 people there, but like 1,000 people will see it. And you get no engagement. I don't even know what to do with it. I got about 280,000 on Instagram. Just broke 3,000 on TikTok. So I guess TikTok is my worst. But it's been hard to grow the YouTube. And what's so difficult is the content just takes so long to make. And if you don't have help with people filming and editing, like it's a full-time job, I think, to do YouTube well, which is what I've been finding, is that if I don't really commit, I'm never going to make it grow. But what I will say is, YouTube is really the only, we can actually make money on YouTube as a business owner. You can monetize it. The content lives forever. It doesn't just die like it does the next day on other outlets. So it can help people for a long time. So to me, it's like a lot of good long-term investment in it. So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm starting to like it more, but I think it's the adding of shorts has been helpful because it allows me to be able to then now make content that I can share. And so it allows me to make YouTube the main focus now because I can share short form content on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and then still mix in the long form content. But the video I just made, which you got to check out, top 40 fit over 40 exercises, I wanted to make like one like epic video that has like incredible production value, professionally shot and recorded, and that has all like the key, like lots of clips, constantly moving and changing angles, transcription, so you can read and watch all the tactics I'm trying to apply to a single video. There's a downloadable ebook that comes with it. So hoping that one will help the channel grow over time and it'll age well. But I'm liking it more because now it's starting to grow again. But it's been tough. Like for a couple of years, I lost subscribers on it. So get fit with Giddy. Oh my goodness. We have royalty here. The fitness legend from Nigeria, Gideon Akande, Men's Health top trainer winner, new father as well. Shout out to Gideon. We had one. I think we had one final. You guys should follow this guy though. One of the top guys in the game. Awesome dude, helping a lot of people make a change. Chicago's own, another Midwest gentleman. Damien says, Men's Health screwed up letting this guy leave. Well, in fairness to Men's Health, I left on my own volition, but, and you know what? It's been 5 years since I left. What I will tell you is, it is hard doing it on your own, because when you don't have a team of people filming you, editing your content, you don't have a huge platform to reach people. It's been humbling. To do this on your own is really tough because you have to wear every hat. You know, you got to do all aspects of it. You just run out of time and energy. And turning 40, the biggest thing I've noticed turning 40, I feel I've never felt better, but I just don't have the same energy. So I've got to be very strategic with how I use my time. You know, 10, 20 years ago, I had nothing but energy, and I'm just not as motivated to do things anymore. So you got to like find new ways to motivate yourself to get things done with this. And but I am grateful for the opportunity because many of you only know me through that. So, and you know, this channel in particular, I started after I left Men's Health, so it gives you an idea of how difficult it is to grow a channel, even when like, and I share this on the other places, like where I have more people, and people tend not to leave their platform of choice. It's really hard to grow a channel organically. But I'll keep doing my best. Keep doing my best. What am I going to do? Body Knowledge says I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. No, it's tough, man. Because here's the thing too. There's a lot of these younger creators. I'll give a shout out to someone like, I think his name is Jeremy Ethier. I'm not sure if I pronounce it properly. He's got 4 million subscribers, and his videos are just like, you watch one of his videos and it's like I quit, because it's got like, he'll be doing like presses and like digital animations pop up to show where the elbow's supposed to be, and then his muscles will like, he'll have muscle images pop up. If you look at the production quality is just off the charts. I wouldn't even know how to do half of that, and if I did, it would be hard to find the time to make that for a single video. So it's tough. You got to almost kind of pick, because we have some trainers watching, like how do you grow a channel? You almost kind of have to like pick one that you're really going to commit to that works best for your personality and presentation style, because it is tough. It is tough to do all of them, because before you know, all day you're just like bouncing between platforms and really kind of spreading yourself thin. But like I said, it is great now that you can do short form content on YouTube, because it's at least you can now put it elsewhere. What else we got here to finish off? I'm trying to make sure I get to the final ones. Zombie John G, I appreciate that. It means a lot. You know, if I can motivate you to stay in the game, be active and healthy, that's what I try to do. I've been trying to make things as educational as possible. Not as entertaining probably as I used to be, but you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the climate. I know people are struggling right now financially, mentally. So I've just been trying to share stuff, and hopefully, you know, not everything will resonate, but hopefully enough things do resonate that kind of get you inspired to take action and get fit, because it does, man. It's one of the few things you can control. Like, are you an active individual? You know, because I'll tell you, man, like, it gets tough. It gets tough. Before you know it, you have trouble getting up and down off the ground. Before you know it, you can't get up and down the stairs. So, you know, you don't want to lose function. And, you know, on the other side of it, it's not fun being overweight. It's not fun not being able to take your shirt off when you swim, or if you're having the confidence to do so. So hopefully I find a way to get some more live interaction here. I got to find a way to incorporate some sort of follow along stuff, but without it destroying me or sabotaging our membership site. So we'll figure it out. But I'm committed to keep doing more and more stuff here. Hopefully this live stream was the start of it. And I ask you to really look out for the top 40 Fit Over 40 video. It's coming very soon. And yeah, you know, it's tough. Body knowledge is saying, you know, it's tough to. Thing is, like, you can't really monetize entertainment, but and I try to be more entertaining for a while, and I lost a lot of people who just wanted fitness. I've tried some collaborations. I collaborated with Tony Jeffries. I got to maybe do some more collaborations. Got to get in front of a bigger audience too. But otherwise, we'll just keep growing slow, and you know, at least it's growing now, which is like, for a couple of years I was actually losing people. So you know, it's been humbling, but I'm grateful now for any sort of positive trajectory in this as well. So I think that was the last one. All right, guys. Well, have a beautiful weekend. Stay tuned for that video, and hopefully I answer some of your questions. And we'll see you soon. Peace.